Welcome to the deep dive. We've got quite the reading list this time around.
Oh, yeah.
Selections from William Cooper's 1991 book, Behold a Pale Horse.
Right.
Buckle up, because we're about to explore a world
Okay.
where secret societies and government conspiracies and even alien encounters collide.
Wow. Cooper's writing is definitely a journey into the fringes of belief.
Yeah.
What we're going to do today is unpack his claims.
Okay.
We're going to examine where they come from and if they hold any weight.
Right.
We're going to analyze, not endorse, remember.
Exactly. And that's important with this kind of material.
It is.
So how does someone even arrive at these kinds of ideas?
Wow.
Cooper's book is packed with personal stories that give us some clues.
Oh, interesting.
He talks about a chilling encounter he had with what he believed was a UFO while serving on a submarine. He even describes physical damage to the sub, saying it had gouges from bow to stern.
That's one way to kickstart an interest in the unknown, right?
Yeah.
Makes you wonder how an experience like that might shape someone's worldview.
Yeah. It's definitely not your average day at the office.
No, it's not.
And he even talks about another incident where a torpedo became lodged in the conning tower of another submarine during an exercise.
Oh, wow.
It seems like these close calls really impacted him.
Yeah, and these experiences become part of a larger pattern in Cooper's thinking.
Okay.
He starts to see evidence of hidden forces, things beyond our everyday understanding influencing events.
Interesting.
He ties this into his family history as well,
Okay.
mentioning his great-grandmother's fearlessness during an Indian uprising.
Oh, wow.
She actually faced down a war party and fed them.
Wow, that's incredible.
It is.
It definitely seems like a family history full of strong personalities and a sense of defying expectations.
Yeah, and he also talks about his father,
Okay.
that he describes as a John Wayne type.
Right. It's like he sees a connection between these strong figures in his family and his own fight against what he believes are hidden powers controlling the world.
Exactly.
He actually claims that his time in naval intelligence solidified this belief. He says he saw classified documents about UFOs and government conspiracies firsthand.
That's where things take a turn towards the conspiratorial.
Okay.
And for Cooper, this isn't just about isolated incidents, but a vast network of control.
Uh-huh.
He starts talking about secret societies like the Illuminati, the Freemasons, and the Bilderberg Group.
Okay, so now we're in the realm of some serious conspiracy theories.
Right.
What's Cooper's take on these groups? Is he saying they're all working together?
He believes they are interconnected and working towards a new world order.
Okay.
This is a key concept for Cooper. The idea of a single global government intended to control the world.
Wow.
And he claims this New World Order wants to strip away national identities and individual freedoms.
So how would they even achieve something like that? It seems pretty far-fetched, right?
Well, this is where Cooper gets into some specifics.
Okay.
He describes an alleged oath taken by members of this order,
Okay.
their plan to dismantle national allegiances, and even connects figures like George Bush to this network.
Whoa, hold on. He's naming names. That's a pretty serious accusation.
It is.
Does he offer any proof?
He doesn't present direct evidence in the traditional sense.
Okay.
A lot of his argument relies on connecting seemingly unrelated events and highlighting what he sees as symbolic patterns.
Right.
For example, he's fixated on the numbers 3, 7, and 13.
Oh, okay.
He claims they appear repeatedly in historical events and documents, suggesting a hidden code or a deliberate manipulation of events.
Okay. This is where I start to get a little skeptical.
I understand.
Is he saying that history is secretly orchestrated by people obsessed with numerology?
That's essentially what he's suggesting. He believes these numbers hold significance for the individuals pulling the strings behind the scenes.
Okay.
It's all part of his attempt to reveal what he believes is a hidden hand guiding world events.
It's a fascinating idea, but it also feels a little shaky.
Yeah.
Is there anything more concrete he points to?
He talks about a document called Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars. He claimed to have encountered this document while in naval intelligence.
Oh, okay. What is silent weapons for quiet wars? That seems ominous.
It's basically a blueprint for controlling populations without traditional warfare. Think economic manipulation, psychological warfare, and subtle social engineering.
Okay.
Pretty chilling stuff.
So what kind of tactics does this document allegedly outline? Is he talking about mind control or something?
It's not quite that sci-fi.
Okay.
He describes tactics like price shocking to disrupt buying habits and destabilize the economy,
Right.
controlling information and education to keep people confused and passive, and even exploiting basic human weaknesses to manipulate behavior.
Wow.
And here's where it gets interesting for Cooper.
Okay.
He doesn't just see this document as a theoretical exercise.
Right.
He believes these tactics are actively being used against us right now to control the population.
He's saying we're in a quiet war without even realizing it.
Exactly.
That's a pretty unsettling thought.
It is.
So how does this all tie back to the secret societies and the New World Order?
Well, Cooper sees the tactics outlined in Silent Weapons as tools being used by these groups to manipulate society and move us closer to that global controlled future he warns about.
Okay, so we've got secret societies, a blueprint for manipulating the masses, and a shadowy New World Order waiting in the wings.
That's right.
What else does Cooper have up his sleeve?
Well, you can't talk about William Cooper without diving into his claims about alien encounters and government cover-ups.
Here we go.
Buckle up, because this is where things get really wild.
I knew aliens had to be involved somewhere.
Of course.
What kind of encounters is he talking about?
He claims that the government has been covering up evidence of extraterrestrial contact for decades.
Okay.
Starting with an alleged 1954 landing at Muroc Air Force Base, which is now Edwards Air Force Base.
So he's saying aliens landed in the California desert back in the 50s.
Yep.
Does he have any proof of this?
He cites a letter from a man named Gerald Light, who describes this event and the emotional turmoil among officials who saw the alien spacecraft.
Oh.
He also claims that President Truman immediately formed a secret group called Majestic 12 to manage information about extraterrestrial contact.
Wait, a secret group dedicated to aliens? Is he serious?
Dead serious.
Okay.
And it gets even more out there.
All right.
Cooper believes there's a real space program.
Okay.
Far more advanced than anything we know publicly.
Uh-huh.
He's talking atomic-powered anti-gravity craft and interplanetary voyages.
So while NASA was sending astronauts to the moon, there was another secret space program exploring the galaxy?
That's what he says.
Where does he even get this information?
He claims it came from classified documents he saw while in naval intelligence.
Okay.
But again, offers no concrete proof. He even suggests that Kennedy's public goal of landing on the moon was a clever cover.
Interesting.
For this more secretive and advanced space program.
Okay, so we've got secret societies, mind control tactics, hidden space programs, and now aliens. It's a lot to unpack.
Is there anything else we need to know about Cooper's worldview?
Oh, there's plenty more.
Okay.
But I think we've laid a solid foundation for now.
Okay.
Remember, we're just scratching the surface of Cooper's claims.
Yeah.
In the next part of this deep dive, we'll explore some of his specific examples and analyze the evidence, or lack thereof, behind his theories.
This is definitely a lot to process.
I know, right?
We've gone from underwater UFO encounters to a shadowy network of global control in just a few minutes.
That's Cooper for you.
It's a lot to take in.
It is. But remember, our goal is to understand Cooper's narrative, not necessarily to endorse it.
Right.
So as we continue this deep dive, keep asking yourself, is Cooper a truth teller, a master manipulator, or something in between?
Good question. I have a feeling this is about to get a lot more complicated.
Oh, it will.
Join us next time as we go even deeper into the world of Behold a Pale Horse.
See ya.
Welcome back to the deep dive. Last time we started unpacking William Cooper's Behold a Pale Horse.
We covered secret societies, mind control tactics, hidden space programs, aliens.
We did.
Where do we even go from here?
Well, Cooper's world is built on the idea that there are hidden patterns and meanings embedded throughout history.
Yeah.
He claims to see these patterns everywhere.
Right.
And he uses them to support his bigger theories.
He's really into numerology, right? Seeing significance in numbers like 3, 7, and 13.
Exactly. He believes these numbers are like a secret code.
Okay.
Revealing the hidden hand guiding world events. He points to things like the United States founding date, July 4th, 1776.
All right.
July is the 7th month. And if you add up the digits of the year, you have in 776, you get 21, a multiple of both 3 and 7.
Okay, I see the pattern, but is that really proof of some grand conspiracy? Couldn't it just be coincidence?
Cooper doesn't think so. He believes these numerical patterns are evidence of a deliberate design orchestrated by the secret societies he talks about.
Okay.
He sees this hidden hand throughout history, tracing it back to groups like the Knights Templar and their connection to the Freemasons.
So he's basically saying that these groups have been passing down secret knowledge and working towards a hidden agenda for centuries. It's like something out of a Dan Brown novel.
It is. And what's interesting is that Cooper himself was a member of the Demolay Society as a young man.
Okay.
This is a fraternal organization for young men that, according to Cooper, focuses on the legacy of the Knights Templar.
So he's not just theorizing about this stuff. He actually participated in one of these groups.
Right.
Did he see anything that supported his beliefs while he was a member?
He doesn't go into detail about his time in the Demolay Society.
Okay.
But he does suggest that his involvement might have played a role in him getting selected for naval intelligence later on.
Interesting.
It's like he sees his entire life as being intertwined with these secret forces.
So how does this all lead back to the New World Order? The global government he keeps warning about. Does he have any specific ideas about how this New World Order would actually function?
He does. He cites a document called the Report from Iron Mountain.
Okay.
This report supposedly outlines how to maintain control of a society. Even in the absence of war, Cooper believes it's a blueprint for the New World Order.
Wait, a world without war? That sounds like a good thing, right?
It does.
Why would that be a problem for Cooper?
Because he believes it would come at the cost of individual freedom.
Okay.
The report from Iron Mountain, according to Cooper, suggests things like manufacturing crises, exaggerating environmental threats, and even faking an alien invasion to keep the population united under a single controlling power.
Okay, now that sounds like classic conspiracy theory stuff. Fabricated alien invasions. Is there any evidence that this report even exists, let alone that anyone is taking it seriously?
That's the tricky part with a lot of Cooper's claims.
Yeah.
He doesn't offer concrete proof for many of them. He relies heavily on interpretations and suggestions that he knows more than he can reveal publicly.
It's like he's constantly hinting at a deeper truth, a bigger picture that only he can see. It's definitely intriguing, but it makes it hard to know what to believe.
Exactly. And that's the challenge we face when trying to understand Cooper's work.
Yeah.
He's pulling together pieces from history, current events, government documents, and personal experiences to create this grand narrative of control and manipulation.
So does he ever get more specific than just these vague warnings about manufactured crises and alien invasions?
He does.
Okay.
Does he say how this New World Order would actually control people on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah.
He does. Remember that document, Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars, we talked about earlier?
Yeah.
He believes the tactics in that document are already being used to shape our behavior and control our thoughts. He points to things like the formation of FEMA and the existence of underground bunkers as evidence that preparations are underway for this takeover.
So everyday things like government agencies and emergency preparedness are actually signs of a looming global dictatorship. That seems like quite a leap.
It does. But that's how Cooper connects the dots.
Right.
He even analyzes presidential executive orders focusing on those that grant the government expanded powers during national emergencies.
He's basically saying that any attempt by the government to prepare for a crisis or maintain order is actually a step towards tyranny. Does he name any specific individuals who he believes are leading this charge?
He does. He calls out people like George Bush, claiming they're high-ranking members of these secret societies and are actively working to bring about this New World Order. He even accuses Bush of being involved in drug trafficking and financing Hitler.
Whoa, those are some serious accusations. Does he offer any evidence to back them up?
He doesn't provide concrete proof for these specific claims.
Okay.
He relies heavily on connecting seemingly unrelated events and suggesting he has access to classified information that he can't reveal. He even talks about a group called the Jason Society.
Okay.
A group of elite scientists he claims are advising the government on UFOs and advanced technology.
It seems like he sees conspiracies everywhere, even in the scientific community.
Yeah.
But what about the space program? Didn't he claim there was a secret space program happening alongside NASA's public missions?
Yes. He believes that the official space program is just a smokescreen for a much more advanced and clandestine operation involving anti-gravity craft and interplanetary travel.
Okay.
He even claims that there are areas on the moon with plant life, man-made lakes.
Really?
And that humans can walk on its surface without spacesuits.
Wait, he's saying there's a secret moon base with forests and lakes?
Yeah.
And that we've been going to other planets this whole time? Where's the evidence?
Again, he claims to have seen photographs and documents while in naval intelligence.
Right.
But he doesn't provide anything concrete to support these extraordinary claims.
It's frustrating because he makes these wild assertions, but doesn't really back them up with anything verifiable. It makes it hard to take him seriously.
Yeah.
Even when he's talking about potentially important issues like government overreach and the dangers of unchecked power.
That's the constant tension with Cooper's work.
Yeah.
His conclusions are often so extreme that it's easy to dismiss everything he says.
Right.
But there are also moments where he raises valid concerns about things like propaganda, social engineering,
Right.
and the potential for powerful individuals to manipulate events for their own gain.
So how do we reconcile those two sides of Cooper?
I don't know.
The insightful critic of power and the purveyor of outlandish claims.
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
And honestly, there might not be an easy answer.
Mm.
We've got one more part of our deep dive to go.
Okay.
And maybe by the end, we'll have a clearer picture of Cooper's legacy.
You're right.
And what we can learn from him, both the good and the bad.
Okay, so stay tuned as we continue to explore the world of William Cooper and his book, Behold a Pale Horse. Welcome back to our deep dive into William Cooper and Behold a Pale Horse.
All right.
We've covered a lot of ground. Secret societies, mind control aliens, the works.
Yeah, we've been through a lot.
Now let's talk about Cooper's impact.
Yeah.
What kind of legacy did he leave behind?
Well, Cooper's book, despite being controversial, gained a cult following.
Right.
Especially among people interested in conspiracy theories.
Mm-hmm.
He tapped into a deep distrust of authority. The idea that things aren't what they seem, and powerful forces are manipulating events behind the scenes.
It seems like he gave a voice to those who felt like they weren't being hurt, like the system was rigged against them.
Right.
His ideas resonated with people who felt marginalized or like they were being lied to.
Exactly. He created a sense of community for those who felt like outsiders.
Right.
The problem is, while he encouraged critical thinking, he also presented a very specific and often unproven version of reality.
He painted this picture of a world controlled by shadowy elites, where pretty much everything was part of a grand conspiracy to enslave humanity.
Right. And that kind of narrative can be dangerous if it's taken too far.
Yeah.
It's important to be critical of authority, but we also can't just blindly accept every conspiracy theory we come across.
It's like falling down a rabbit hole. You start seeing conspiracies everywhere, and it becomes hard to distinguish between what's real and what's not. Did Cooper ever acknowledge that risk?
He seemed to believe that anyone who questioned him was part of the conspiracy.
Oh, wow.
He accused even his ex-wife and former friends of being involved. Sadly, this mindset led to his death in a shootout with law enforcement in 2001.
That's a tragic end. It makes you think about the fine line between healthy skepticism and paranoia.
It does.
It's a reminder that we need to be careful about going too far down that rabbit hole, even when exploring alternative ideas.
Absolutely. Cooper's story highlights the importance of critical thinking and balanced skepticism.
Right.
It's about questioning things, but also demanding evidence and being willing to consider different perspectives.
So stepping back a bit, what can we learn from Cooper's work? Even if we don't buy into all of his theories, is there anything valuable we can take away?
Despite his flaws, Cooper's work reminds us to be vigilant, to demand transparency from those in power, and to never stop seeking the truth. It's a call to action, urging us to become more aware and engaged in shaping our world.
He forces us to ask who benefits from the way things are. Are there unseen forces shaping our lives?
Right.
These are important questions to consider, even if we disagree with Cooper's answers.
He also highlights the dangers of unchecked power and the ways in which governments and other groups can manipulate people through propaganda and social engineering.
Right.
Even if you don't believe in a grand conspiracy, these are real tactics that are used in the world today.
So what's the final takeaway for our listeners? What should they do after listening to this deep dive?
Cooper may not have gotten everything right, but he was passionate about seeking the truth. In a world where information is increasingly weaponized, his legacy reminds us to be critical of what we see and hear, to question the narratives we are presented with, and to never stop searching for answers.
It's about being informed, thinking for ourselves, and not being afraid to challenge the status quo.
Exactly. Cooper's story is a cautionary tale, but it's also a call to action.
Right.
It reminds us that we all have a role to play in shaping our world and protecting our freedoms. So research further, question everything, and remember the truth is out there somewhere. It's up to each of us to find it.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of William Cooper and Behold a Pale Horse.